Jungkook loses control. Jimin cries. What really happened? The moment was shocking, immediate, and almost unbelievable. Jungkook, the member most often praised for his calm professionalism, lost control in front of a massive crowd, and Jimin, the figure so often described as the emotional anchor of BTS, broke into tears. What could drive the youngest to raise his voice and the gentlest to collapse in sorrow? Was this an isolated incident, or the revelation of a deeper truth about the human limits of global fame? Eyewitnesses described chaos from the second Jungkook's vehicle pulled in. The surge of bodies was overwhelming, phones and cameras lit up like relentless strobes, and the suffocating press of attention created a sense of claustrophobia. In that unbearable pressure, the golden image of Jungkook fractured. His gestures sharpened, his tone grew heated, and his expression revealed exhaustion. The man often presented as endlessly composed was, for the first time in public memory, visibly overwhelmed. For fans present, the sight was not simply startling, it was destabilizing. The careful narrative of perfection surrounding BTS, maintained for years through relentless discipline, suddenly cracked. But what followed deepened the impact beyond a fleeting spectacle: Jimin's tears. The member associated with empathy and steadiness could not contain his emotions. Accounts suggested he shed tears in private exchanges and hinted at his sorrow in later remarks. That vulnerability turned a startling clip into a worldwide phenomenon. Why did Jungkook lose control at that moment? Why did Jimin respond with tears that struck so deeply across millions of fans? The answers cannot be found in seconds of footage alone. They emerge from the relentless circumstances of their lives, more than a decade under intense scrutiny, with every movement dissected, every private moment intruded upon, every expression magnified into headlines. For Jungkook, who entered the public eye as a teenager, the weight has been constant. Arrivals and departures, seemingly mundane events, have become flashpoints of intrusion. The suffocation of personal space is not a rare inconvenience, but a repeated erosion of boundaries. That night, his visible irritation was not the birth of anger in an instant, but the culmination of years of invisible strain. His body language screamed exhaustion. His clenched jaw betrayed the limits of endurance. The video spread immediately, repeated endlessly across TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Yet what the camera captured was only surface. Jimin's later comments provided context, reminding fans that Jungkook's reaction was not an isolated loss of temper, but a human response to endless demands and the absence of privacy. Jimin's own tears became a haunting counterpart, underscoring the emotional gravity words could not fully express. The incident revealed the fragile duality of global fame: admiration that suffocates, adoration that consumes, and expectations that grind against human endurance. For some fans, Jungkook's reaction was shocking, even disillusioning. For others, it was overdue, proof that even he could only tolerate so much. Jimin's tears ignited parallel debates. If even the group's source of comfort reached a breaking point, what hidden strains remain unspoken? Critics quickly seized upon the footage. Some exaggerated the severity of Jungkook's outburst, framing it as a collapse rather than a fleeting display of frustration. Others misinterpreted Jimin's remarks, distorting them into suggestions of internal discord. In truth, nothing points to division within the group. Both reactions were born of external pressures, not internal fractures. Yet the misreporting itself illustrates a dangerous cycle: how fragments of reality mutate into distorted narratives within minutes online. This raises larger ethical questions. At what point does admiration cross into intrusion? How long can an individual live under constant surveillance before cracks appear? And what responsibility does the public bear in amplifying private strain into viral spectacle? The digital machinery thrives on fragments, not context. A short clip of Jungkook's raised voice becomes inflated into a narrative of breakdown. A few words from Jimin, uttered through tears, are twisted into ominous signals. The truth is simpler, but the machinery resists simplicity. Jungkook reacted. Jimin empathized. Both moments are human, not scandalous. But when humans are idols, their humanity becomes cultural spectacle. Observers of pop culture recognize this event as more than gossip. It is a case study in the cost of celebrity in the digital age. Fans see perfection on stage, but rarely glimpse the fractures beneath. This time they did, and the collective gasp was recognition. Idols, no matter how carefully managed, are human, yet deeper questions remain unresolved. Will fans translate empathy into changed behavior, respecting boundaries, reducing intrusion? Will media outlets reconsider their appetite for sensational framing? Or will the incident simply fade into archives, remembered only for shock rather than significance? The stakes are profound. Fame without empathy is unsustainable. The machinery of global stardom extracts endlessly, and individuals within it cannot remain untouched. Jungkook's visible frustration and Jimin's tears converge as a warning. They reveal not weakness, but humanity stripped bare, captured by cameras, amplified by billions. Still, doubt lingers. Was the incident entirely authentic, or could it have been subtly shaped by the logics of publicity? In an era where visibility equals currency, the possibility cannot be ignored that even pain is commodified. Which outcome is more disturbing, that the moment was painfully real, or that it was designed? Each observer must confront complicity. When sharing the clip, are we bearing witness to suffering or fueling the cycle that caused it? When dissecting Jimin's tears, are we empathizing, or are we consuming grief as entertainment? This is not limited to BTS. It reflects the global condition of celebrity in the digital era. What remains is the echo. Jungkook continues scheduled commitments with visible professionalism, but the memory of his raised voice lingers. Jimin fulfills his duties, yet the image of his tears reshapes how many fans view him. Together, their reactions have forced a conversation about boundaries, sustainability, and ethical responsibility. This moment in BTS history will be remembered not merely for its shock, but for what it revealed. That idols bleed under pressure. That perfection is a fragile facade. That behind every performance lies a cost often invisible to the audience. In the end, Jungkook lost control. Jimin cried, and the world was reminded with stunning clarity that even the most celebrated figures of global culture remain profoundly human. The world froze in disbelief when Jungkook, long admired for his calm professionalism, lost control before a surging crowd, and Jimin, often described as BTS's emotional anchor, broke into tears. The incident shocked fans, raising urgent questions. What forced the youngest member to display such raw anger, and why did the gentlest suddenly collapse in sorrow? Eyewitnesses described chaos from the moment Jungkook arrived: flashes, shouts, suffocation. His gestures grew sharp, his voice tense, his exhaustion visible. For many, the carefully maintained image of perfection cracked in real time. Yet what followed was even more piercing: Jimin's tears, revealing the hidden weight of endless scrutiny. The viral clips circulated instantly, but fragments cannot capture the true burden. Their reactions were not scandal, but human responses to relentless intrusion. Jungkook did not collapse, he reacted. Jimin did not signal discord, he empathized. In that moment, both reminded the world that idols are not untouchable, but profoundly human. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because the story of BTS's Jimin and Jungkook is still unfolding, and we will be the first to bring you the exclusive updates.